Hi guys, how are you? I am so glad to see you guys. I don't see you a lot on Tuesdays during the week. I usually see you on the weekends. Let me know who I've got here and where you're from. Happy almost middle of the week. Hi, Brandon and Lou. Yep, Brandon's in Beijing. That's right. Hi, Ivan. Who else do I have? So we can talk about the solar system. Oh, Brandon, thank you. Merry Christmas to you guys. And Bruce is in Shanghai. Jade's in Hong Kong. Hi, Jade. Anybody else? Williams in Shanghai and Lou. Okay, and Billy and Bella and Tony. Great. It's wonderful to see a lot of you guys again. Nina. This is great. All right. Well, today we're going to talk about the solar system. So, hi, Austin. So I'm going to talk about the solar system and kind of talk about every one of the planets just a little bit so that you guys can see what the next part of the webinar series is going to be about. Because today we're doing the whole solar system. And then when you guys have your winter holiday, we're going to go through all the different planets and different things about them. So and the sun including, which is a star, not a planet. So we're going to talk a little bit about all of them today. I'm going to jam pack it with full of stuff and then to show you what more is to come. I'm going to use a lot of my Earth model here. I'm going to show you this a lot, but I'm going to mean other planets. And so we'll talk about that. As you guys know, this is Christmas week and everywhere. And so I've got my Christmas necklace on. I've also got my NASA shirt on, my Christmas NASA shirt. NASA is the National Atmospheric Association for Space in America, a little snowman there on a rocket. And so I've also got my Christmas necklaces on. And so we'll talk a little bit about NASA. That is what America uses to go to space. Now, China just got back from the moon. And one of my webinars will be about the moon as well. But China actually didn't have a person go to the moon. They landed on the moon. And what is incredible is they actually sent some rocks back. Your teacher may have talked about it. And they just sent some rocks back and we got moon rocks. China did just last week. So that's pretty neat. All right. Yeah, hopefully you did hear about it. Let me show you. Let's start off with the planets. And let's see. Here we go. Now, we say there's lots of planets. There are 9 main ones in our solar system. Okay, and that's including us, the Earth, but a lot of them are dwarf planets. And so you might say, well, we have a lot of planets, but why is Pluto not a planet anymore? So I've got all our planets here, except we'll talk a little bit about why Pluto's been demoted. Demoted means not a big planet anymore. Okay. We are the 4th rock from the sun. We are on Earth. Here is our only star in our solar system, the sun. You might go, well, at night I see lots of stars. Me too, guys, but they're not in our solar system. So our sun is the closest star to us, and he's the only one in our solar system. And so all of us, including Earth, go around the sun. That's our year. Okay, we go around our central star. So let's talk a little bit about the sun first. Okay, the sun is the only star in our solar system. It's made of helium and hydrogen. Those are 2 elements in the periodic table of elements. You might have seen them in your science class. If you haven't, you probably will. And what makes the sun burn is fusion. Hydrogen turns to helium all the time. When you look at the sun, don't look at the sun, it will hurt your eyes. When you see sunlight, that left the sun 6 minutes ago. Pretty neat. Okay, so we count on the sun for all of our needs, right? Everything that we eat grows or uses something that grows from the sun. Couple terms I want to make sure we know of. Rotation means spinning on an axis, spinning on a point. Okay, so let's just use the Earth, even though we're talking about the sun. Okay, it's something that spins. When I say revolution, which is this other word in green, okay, that means going around something. Okay, so we all revolve around the sun. But we're really lucky because we're just the right distance from the sun to have liquid water that we can drink, and we also have some places that are icy water, okay, on our poles. Okay. Does anybody know in the chat where the sun rises and sets? That means where it comes up and where it goes down. Our choices are north, south, east, and west. Tell me where you think in the chat where the sun might rise, even for you, it doesn't matter. We're all on Earth, and where it sets. Hanlu says it rises in the east. Yep, Yolanda, it sets in the west. Yep, that's exactly right. So that means when the sun comes up, it rises in the east part of the sky. And when it goes down, it sets. That means it goes down and it sets in the west. And the way I remember it is it almost kind of rhymes, sets in west, kind of rhymes. Okay, sets in the west. By the way, tonight, which is probably, see, it's 7 in the morning for me. Okay, so I just saw the sun come up. You just saw the sun go down. Tomorrow, if you can, and it's clear out, meaning there are no clouds, and it was cloudy for me last night. So I'm hoping tonight I can see this. As soon as the sun goes down, go outside and see if you can look southwest. Okay, Yolanda, you might be able to do this today then. Okay, go look southwest tonight. That means you'll see the moon over here. You'll see some stars over here. You're going to see a big star in the southwest. It's not a star. It's really Jupiter and Saturn that are so close together, it looks like a big star. And so it's called the Christmas star. It only comes around every so many years. The last time we saw this at Christmas, where these two planets were close together, remember, we're on Earth. We're looking out in space, okay? And they're very far apart, but to us, they look close together. The last time these two planets were close together around Christmas time was 800 years ago. And they'll be back together close again in about 2080. So you can see that, but pretty cool because it's kind of like the Christmas star. Now, last night it was too cloudy for me, but I'm hoping I can see it tonight. But you've got to go out right after the sun sets. It can't be very dark. It's going to be very low in the sky. So you're not going to look straight up. You're going to look in the southwest. Okay. And we'll go over it at the end so you can try to remember. Okay. Okay. Exactly, Yolanda. We can see lots of planets with a telescope. Okay. So I don't have a telescope, but I can see those stars and they're going to look like stars to me, but they're planets. Okay. All right. So let me show you one little thing about the sun, and then we'll go back to um, I put some couple things with song just because it's kind of fun to look at instead of boring. Okay, let me show you this. Here's a little song about the sun. Remember, I told you it gets its energy from fusion. That's hydrogen and helium fusing, coming together. We can't do fusion on Earth yet. Okay, we only do fission.
According to my calculations, we are now approaching the sun. It's getting pretty hot in here.
I'm so hot. I'm so hot. Check me out. I'm hot. Yo, everyone, I'm the sun. I'm made of gas like hydrogen and helium. I keep the earth warm and help to grow food. I shine on the beach on guys who say, I set into the west and on comes night, and then I rise from the east with that golden light. I'm so hot, so hot and bright, 28 million degrees Fahrenheit. I make plants grow like trees and flowers, so powerful. Got that solar power, make the deserts dry, make the oceans rise. Don't stare right at me, I can hurt your eyes. I'm just about 1 million miles wide. I'm so big you could fit 1 million Earths inside. I'm the center of the solar system, can't you see? Got so much gravity, planets orbit me. I'm 4.5 billion years old. In Spanish, everybody calls me Sol. When I'm not around, you'll be feeling cold. Yeah, I shine so bright with my rays of gold. I'm so hot. I'm so hot.
Oh, he's right, he's really hot.
Come on, storybots, show me what you got. How hot am I?
So hot. The sun is so hot, I have to wear these. Now I'm cool. So cool.
So did you see that he said he could fit 1 million Earths inside the sun? That's how big it is. They can fit 1 million Earths inside the sun. NASA, like I said, the Space Agency for America just sent a probe to the sun. Nobody's on it. Okay, a probe means nobody's on it. And it's not going to land on the sun. It's going to get as close as anybody's ever gotten and take cool pictures. Okay, so we'll be getting those pictures back soon. So when I say a probe or a rover, those have gone to other planets and no, not with anybody in them. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about that too in the future webinars, but let me go back to my PowerPoint and talk a little bit about, now we've talked about the sun, and we're going to talk about, by the way, the sun has lots of parts to it, kind of like Earth does. We've got a core like an apple and a part of the Earth called the mantle that we, and the crust that we walk on. The sun is all gas. You can't land there anyway, but it's got little parts to it. It's got sunspots, it's got layers. One part we only see during a solar eclipse. Okay, that's when the moon blocks the sun for us. All right, let me go back. Let's keep on going to the other planets. Past the sun, the first planet is Mercury. It's really hot on one side and really cold on another. Okay, so you guys see little blue arrows here? This means how they spin or rotate. Remember, rotate is when something kind of moves like that. It's not going around something. So I've got Mercury, then I've got Venus, then Earth, and then Mars. These 4 planets you can actually land on. They're called terrestrial. You can land on them, okay? And then you've got the others over here that are gas giants. You can't land on those. And then over here is Pluto, who we'll talk about, who's kind of icy and solid. It's not really gassy. It's kind of weird that it's all the way out there, but it would make sense that it's very cold furthest from the sun. Okay. So, like I said, Mercury, one side, the side that faces the sun, is super duper hot, and the other side's really cold. Then you've got Venus, which has a thick cloud layer, and Venus is named after the goddess of love and beauty. And so it's basically a greenhouse effect, which they're worried that the Earth could have. Then you've got Earth, and then you've got Mars. The Mars is like us too, that it has seasons. Venus is called our twin, though. And the cool thing about Venus, guys, is when I was talking about rotation, Venus goes the other way, the opposite of all the other planets. Isn't that weird? The rest of them go this way, Venus goes this way. Okay. Yolanda, no, the sun doesn't have that. And Venus is hot too. That's right, Henlu. Exactly. You guys know lots of information, and you can't go there. We've sent a probe to map all of Venus, but nobody's landed there. Actually, I take that back. The Russians landed there, and they knew that they wouldn't be there very long. Nobody was there. A probe. It lasted 45 minutes on the surface of Venus because there's so much pressure. It just crushed it. So they knew that was only going to last a little while. And so Russia's the only people that have landed something on Venus, and they purposely knew that it was going to be crushed, but they didn't know it would be crushed in 45 minutes. So, you know, NASA has gone around and mapped all of Venus, though. So we've mapped a lot of these planets because we want to know what they're like before somebody gets there. Okay, let me go back to our slides of all the planets. We're in a galaxy called the Milky Way. Okay, and here's another thing about we have these inner and outer planets, okay? So our inner planets you can land on, the outer planets you can't land on. Okay, remember, nobody's landed here, like I said, but probes have gone by, no person has landed here. Okay, I take that back. By the way, Mars, the red planet, we have a rover on the way there. The United States has already put 3 rovers there, but guess what? China launched one also this past summer. So China launched a rover, meaning something that's going to go there and roam around. Nobody's there, just like a remote controlled vehicle. China launched something, the United States launched something, and Europe launched something. They all launched in July, all of us, and it's going to get there in the spring, all in different parts of Mars. Why do you think we all launched in July? All the countries launched this rover to Mars in July. Tell me in the chat why you think that might have happened. Kind of odd that all 3 countries sent something at the exact same time. It was the best time, Brandon, meaning it was when Mars was closest in us to in our orbit around the sun. So we thought we better launch right now. In July of 2020, we're actually closest. Not that we're very close, but it would take less time to get there. Remember, it's going pretty fast. These little rockets with rovers on them, nobody's on them. It's going too fast for a person. A person couldn't go that fast. So it's going to be on Mars in April. That's really quick. Okay, so Mars is where we already have some rovers. And like I said, in future webinars, I'm going to talk about each one of these planets. Right now, we're just kind of talking a little bit about them. So we do have rovers on Mars. They've actually mapped it. Then these outer gas giants, nobody's been to. You can't land there. They're gaseous. The United States has sent Voyager to take pictures of all of these. So we have really good pictures, better than a telescope on land could do or on Earth could do. Okay, and then Pluto's weather. So it went picture, 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 picture as it went by. Okay. In between Mars, which is here, and Jupiter, we have the asteroid belt. and the asteroid belt is a bunch of rocks. Okay, kind of neat. All right, so let's go back and talk a little bit about a couple of the planets. Yes, Yolanda, Mars does have a North Pole and a South Pole that are ice just like us. So that would be really a good idea if people were to go there, because we could get water through there in those areas. So that would be a really good idea to go there, because to get water there costs a lot of money. Just to launch a jug of water to space, like to the space station, which is where people are at right now, would cost at least $10,000 in American money. So it's crazy. Right now, we do have the International Space Station that's floating right around the Earth. It goes around the Earth every 40 minutes. Okay. And it's got a crew of about 5 or 6 people from different countries, United States, Canada, Korea, and they just do experiments. They're not going to land anywhere. They just go up and they stay up there, and people come back and forth. So it's kind of neat. All right, let me show you a couple other little things. We talked about the sun, and let's talk a little bit about outer space on our solar system. Let me show you this. Just because I always, if you're in my class, I like to put a couple little things about brain pops in here. And so this is them talking about the planets, which we're talking about now. Can everybody see this?
What's up, Moby? You're building your own space shuttle? You want to explore our solar system. What is in our solar system? The solar system is the sun and the group of planets and bodies that orbit it. The sun is the center of our solar system. Planets and other bodies, like comets and asteroids, orbit.
Remember, I just told you guys we go around the sun. The sun can fit 1,000,000 Earths. So all of us, these are called orbits. These white lines, those are the revolving. That's their year. So you guys see how Mercury is closest to the sun. Like I said, the side facing the sun is super duper hot, and the other side is super duper cold, like negative 200 degrees below zero. And this side is over 200 degrees. So it's pretty crazy. But to go around the sun takes only 77 days for Mercury. Pretty quick year. For us, it's like 365 days to go around the sun. So the further you go out from the sun, the bigger the orbit is and the longer it takes to go around the sun. And that's our year. It's called a revolution.
Or go around the sun. What is the sun? The sun is a star. A star is a body of hot gases that makes its own light and heat. The center of the sun is about 27 million degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
That's too hot for anything on Earth to survive. The sun is really big. You could fit over 100 Earths across the sun. But the sun is just a medium-sized star. There are even bigger stars and other bodies out there. Even though the sun is millions of miles away, it's still the closest star to the Earth. The sun gives light and heat to our planet, and living things need the sun's energy to survive. What's in the inner solar system? There are 4 planets in the inner solar system.
You guys remember we just talked about these briefly, okay? So you've got Mercury, Venus, Earth, and our buddy the moon, right? And then Mars. Mercury and Venus don't have any moons, okay? We have 1 moon. Mars has 2 moons, Phobos and Deimos, okay? Mars also is called the red planet. That's its nickname. And this is the planet I told you guys that China and Europe and America launched a rover to in July. And they're going to all get there around April, May, the spring, okay? The other neat thing about Mars, like I said, is if we ever sent people there, their ice caps, see, it's kind of white up there and there. There are ice caps on Mars. And the other neat thing is that Mars has the tallest mountain in the whole solar system called Mount Olympus. It's the tallest mountain in the whole solar system. So these are the 4 inner planets, the ones that people could actually walk on if we got there. The other ones, now they're going to show you the gas giants. Nobody could go there because you go right through. It's all gaseous. Okay, so these are the 4 inner planets. The other ones are called outer planets.
They're mostly rocky and have craters. Some even have ridges and volcanoes. Mercury is the planet closest to the sun, and it rotates or spins around very
And
slowly.
like I said, this one is really hot on one side and cold on the other. Do you see these little holes all over it, kind of like the moon has? Those are called craters. And those are because different meteors, we'll talk about in a second, came in and hit Mercury like crazy. And there's no atmosphere to break up the rocks. Like us, we have meteors come in every day, but they're usually so small because as they come through Earth's atmosphere, they just break littler and littler and littler, and they're very little. This, Mercury, like the moon, has no atmosphere. So they just came in and kind of hit it, like almost like you're throwing things in the sand and made big holes. They're called craters.
The side that faces the sun gets really hot, and the side that faces away gets really cold. Venus is the second planet from the sun. It has clouds that trap in a lot of heat. Venus is actually the hottest of all the planets. Earth is the planet we live on. We call it the blue planet because there's so much water. Earth is the perfect distance from the sun for plants and animals to survive. Earth has one moon, and it orbits our planet. Mars is called the red planet because it has reddish rocks. Scientists think there might have been an ocean on Mars.
It's called the red planet because it's so rusty. Rust is something that happens to metal when left outside. Like if you leave a bike outside for a long time, it gets very red and rusty, not shiny and new anymore. So they think that it's just iron oxide that's changed the surface. So it's all red. Also, Mars has lots of big dust storms, very big windy dust storms at different times.
No, Moby, scientists haven't found any Martians. Yet. What's in the outer solar system? The planets and bodies in the outer solar system are colder because they're farther from the sun. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are called...
These are the outer planets. Do you guys see they have rings around them, circles around them? All 4 of them do, not just Saturn. Saturn has the biggest ring system, and most books have Saturn having rings, but Jupiter has rings, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Do you guys also, and their rings are just made of ice and rock. Do you also notice that Uranus doesn't spin like all of us? It spins tipped over on its side. So if you see all of our planets doing this, remember we said Venus goes the other way, Uranus, and I'm just going to use Earth as an example, goes this way. Isn't that crazy the way that it rotates? Pretty neat. Let me go back. Those are the outer planets. Okay.
gas giants because they're large and mostly made of gases. Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. There's a gigantic, powerful storm there called the Great Red Spot.
That great red spot on Jupiter is as big as Earth. Okay, so Jupiter is the biggest of all the planets, but just that storm, the storm never ends. It's like a typhoon or a hurricane that just goes and goes around the whole part of this area in Jupiter. It will never end, but it's the size of Earth, just that storm.
The storm has lasted over 300 years. Saturn is the second largest planet. It's easy to recognize because of all the rings. The rings are made of ice, rock, and dust. Uranus is a gassy planet that has thin rings. Most planets spin kind of like a top, but Uranus spins on its side, like a rolling ball.
And we just called that rotation. Remember, that's the word rotation, how it rotates.
Neptune also has thin rings, and there's a big storm called the Great Dark Spot, kind of like the storm on Jupiter. Good question. Is Pluto a planet? For a long time, Pluto is considered the 9th planet of our solar system.
Do you guys see how Pluto's kind of an oddball out there? Pluto is half rock, half ice. It's not gaseous, no rings. Kind of weird that it's all the way out there. And it makes sense that it's cold because it's away from the sun, but just very odd that Pluto's all the way out there. So now scientists are saying that Pluto is still a planet. It's just called a dwarf planet, meaning little.
But Pluto is much smaller than the other planets. And its orbit around the sun is different from the other planets' orbits. So, Pluto is now considered a dwarf planet, which is different from a planet. How is your space shuttle coming along, Moby? I don't think that'll make it to space.
Cut. Moby's crazy. You guys know that. He had a space shuttle like my shirt has with a snowman on it. Okay, so that was a little bit about every one of the planets. Yeah, you guys are talking about a dwarf planet. That means something that's little, okay? So there's hundreds of dwarf planets in our solar system. So that's why scientists said, you can memorize the order of the planets, but if you want to put Pluto in there, you probably need to put like hundreds of other planets. Remember, a planet's just something that goes around a central star. We're all going around the sun. Lots of little planets. And a moon is something that kind of like we have one moon that's drawn in from a planet, okay? Like Jupiter and Saturn, they have tons of moons because they're so big that every little rock that's floating by in space, they kind of pull in and they keep it to themselves. And so Jupiter has, say, 60 some moons, maybe 63. It's got a lot because every time a little rock comes by, it just pulls, its gravity pulls it in. And so it kind of goes around Jupiter, and Jupiter and all its moons go around the sun. Okay. All right, let me go back and we'll take some questions at the as well later, like I said, guys. All right, let me show you one more little thing about the planets. Okay. And outer space. And then we'll talk a little more about why Pluto is not a planet.
We can see the whole solar system from here. I think we can hear it from here too.
We are the planets of the solar system, different sizes for everyone.
This song and this little video will help you remember about every one of the planets, their name, and one special thing about them.
Music never ends, we are such good friends, and we all orbit the sun.
Here comes the sun, rapping first on this track from the beginning. I'm the center of the solar system, planets be spinning around me. So hot, I'm roasting, you see. Now I pass the mic to the planet closest to me.
Mercury, the smallest planet, small as Earth's moon. I get super hot and cold and it's been very slow. I'm Venus, I got mountains and volcanoes that spray. I'm the same size as Earth, but spin the opposite way.
Yeah, I'm Earth, I'm the home to every boy and girl.
Such a beautiful, beautiful world.
I'm Mars, a red planet. I got deserts and ice, and I've got 2 moons. That's like 1 moon twice.
I'm Jupiter, the biggest planet. I'm humongous, gargantuan. I spin the fastest, rap the fastest, plus I'm handsome. Blam, son.
Oh please, I'm Saturn. Check out my beautiful rings, made up of billions of rocks, dust, and other things.
Remember, all the outer planets have rings, and a lot of times authors and different people that make books and videos only put them around Saturn, but all the outer planets have rings.
Uranus. I say that with pride. Okay, I lied. I'm embarrassed because I'm the only planet lying on its side.
I'm Neptune, I'm cold, dark, windy, and mysterious. I'm very stormy, so bring an umbrella. I'm serious.
We are the planets of the solar system, different sizes for everyone. The music never ends, we are such good friends, and we all orbit the sun.
Well, we are done exploring the solar system. I am thirsty. Let's explore the rest of the Milky Way galaxy.
Remember how he said the Milky Way galaxy? So our galaxy is so big, our solar system is only in one little part of it. So if you look at things from small to big, you have planet, then you have a solar system, which means a lot of planets going around a central star. Okay, then you have a galaxy, which are a lot of different galaxies. We belong to the Milky Way galaxy. And then all of the galaxies make what's called the universe, one big thing. Okay, now that little storybot just said he was thirsty and he wanted water. Can anybody tell me a planet in the chat that actually has water on it? It could be liquid or it could be ice. Tell me in the chat which one you think. Good, Lisa. Lisa says the Earth. And Lou says Mars, which is frozen ice. Very good. Yep, very good, guys. That's why Mars looks so good for scientists to have people visit, because if you get there, you could get water out of the ice. Yeah, Mercury doesn't have any water, just Earth and Mars. Okay? All right. Let's talk a little bit like I showed you. I got a picture of our galaxy to show you. I always term there's a candy bar called a Milky Way, and that's how I remember the name of our galaxy. Remember, there's lots of galaxies that make up a universe. Okay, so the name of our solar system, okay, is the Milky Way, and we're right over here. Okay, it should be galaxy here. And the Milky Way is right on one of these little arms with the sun. And I put a Milky Way candy bar here because I thought it'd be kind of fun to remember it that way. Okay. So like I said, we have all the planets, and right in between Mars and Jupiter, we have something called the asteroid belt. It looks like this. It's a bunch of rocks that go around the sun. Those are kind of leftovers from when our solar system formed. They didn't really make it to planet status. And, like the United States has sent some probes, not a person. Remember, a probe doesn't have a person on it, to explore different asteroids and land there. It's kind of neat. Okay, so we've got all the sun right here, all the inner planets. Mars is right here, then the asteroid belt, and then we start with Jupiter. Okay, and I like to think of this as not as close together as it looks. If you were going to fly, like if you've ever seen Star Wars, the movie, they're flying in and out real close of some of these rocks. It's not very close. It'd be like the closest rock would be like, say, at your home compared to maybe your school, to maybe the capital of your city. It's very far apart. These rocks are very far apart. You could definitely get a machine or a probe through the asteroid belt, is what they call it. So asteroids are just leftovers from when the solar system formed. Okay. We also talk about comets kind of being that way, and also meteors. If you look up in the night sky, you might see a meteor. Okay, and that just means kind of a rock coming in, and sometimes it looks like it's glowing because it's so big, it's burning up. And we call these meteor showers. They won't hurt you. They're little rocks coming in from space, and the rock from space could be as big as your school, but when it finally lands on the earth, it may be the piece of a size of a little marble or dust, because as it comes in, it burns up and gets littler and littler and littler and littler. Okay, and so they kind of land on earth. You could find them if you're lucky. A lot of them are the size of dust, so you won't find them. Some of them are bigger, and they're made of iron and nickel, two other elements on the periodic table. So meteors are like rocks. Okay, and that's all they are. And they're hot when they come in and they land. And some people find them, they fall all the time. Okay. Hanlu, good question. A lot of scientists think that maybe it was a meteor that came in, or an asteroid that came in, and that's what killed the dinosaurs. Not that it hit them. Okay, but maybe dinosaurs were around, and an asteroid like this or a meteor came in, and it was so big that maybe the dust that flew up when it landed covered up the sun. And if the sun's covered up, nothing to eat, nothing grows because there's not much sunlight. And so the plant eating dinosaurs, the herbivores, would have died. And that means that the meat eating dinosaurs that ate them would have died too. Lots of different theories about why the dinosaurs died. There's one big crater. Remember, a crater is a hole in the water off Mexico, and it's dated back 65 million years ago. And that's the exact time the dinosaurs became extinct or died out. You probably never will know, but it could have been. Okay, but these come every day and they're very small. Let me show you one little news article about it. A lot of times you can see them, like I said, at night. They call them meteor showers because so many little rocks are coming in. You just see little, darts across the sky that are bright. People call them a shooting star. They're not a star though. They're a rock, but people make a wish on a shooting star and hope it comes true. Kind of a fun thing to do, but they're really rocks. They're not stars. Let me show you about a meteor strike that was over Russia a couple years ago. And it said people were injured. Most people don't get injured by these. It's maybe glass fell because out of a window. It doesn't mean that they got hit by the actual rock coming in, but I wanted to show you this little thing. This is the newscaster, and you can see behind him, this is when the sun was first coming up. This is not the sun. This is a rock coming in. So this was an actual big meteor. Normally they're not this big, but I wanted to show you guys this. This meteor did strike in Russia. This was a couple years ago, maybe more like 7 years ago.
Done by this image. This was debris from a meteor racing toward Earth, streaking across the sky there, crashing into the ground in those woods. And look at some of the other images emerging tonight. The cloudy trail the meteor produced, and on impact, this, carving a little pool into a frozen lake.
It did fall in Siberia in northern Russia, where it's very cold all the time, and it made a little crater, and they probably went in here and got a lot of pieces of it because nickel and iron that are made of meteors are valuable.
It's the biggest meteor in more than a century to hit the planet. This one crashed in Russia. 1,000 people were injured from shards of flying glass and debris. Tonight here, we have learned there was no warning. More on that from NASA in just a moment here, but we begin with ABC's Kirat Radia in Moscow.
It came out of nowhere.
See how that looks? And this is at sunrise in Russia. Normally you see these at night, and they're little, they call them shooting stars, but they're rocks burning up in space, in our atmosphere from space.
Bright speck in the sky, soon streaking across the horizon, followed by an almost apocalyptic scene, a blinding flash of light, and then all hell broke loose. Dizzying explosions, shattering windows.
And it shattered windows, not that it came in, but that it broke the sound barrier. So that loud boom is what made doors open, and some things broke. Many people did not get hurt. This is, of course, the news making that sound like it was just catastrophic. It was just kind of a neat sight to see. So I just wanted you to see the beginning of that. People were injured with a little bit cut on their finger from a piece of glass that fell, but I wanted you guys to see that, just what it looked like. A lot of times they're not that big. You don't see them that big, but pretty neat. It's just a rock falling. That's right. Okay, so let me show you this, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Pluto, and we'll take some of your questions. See, lots to say about all kinds of things in space. So every webinar that I'm going to do about these will focus more on one planet at a time, or just comets and asteroids and meteors. Okay.
Yes.
Hey. Dear Tim and Moby, what exactly is an asteroid? From Martin. Asteroids are basically big rocks that orbit the sun. Most asteroids live in a ring between Mars and Jupiter called the main asteroid belt. They're irregular in shape, and they can range in size from less than a kilometer in diameter to several hundred kilometers wide. Ceres is the largest asteroid we know of, with a diameter of over 900 kilometers. Yeah, Ceres is also known as a dwarf planet. Nowadays, space objects can fall into more than just one.
Just like Pluto, okay? It doesn't mean anybody lives there. It means it goes around the sun, a dwarf planet.
Category: asteroid, dwarf planet, minor planet, small solar system body, the list goes on. Well, the International Astronomical Union oversees the naming of asteroids. So far, more than 360,000 have been identified.
Do you guys see the asteroid belt here? Remember what two planets are between, Mars and Jupiter? And they come in different areas of space, but the main asteroid belt lies there.
And more than 13,000 have been named. Astronomers think there are between 1.1 and 1.9 million asteroids in the solar system. Besides revolving around the sun, asteroids share a few other qualities with planets. They rotate around a central axis, some as quickly as every few hours, and some as slowly as once every 30 days. Like planets, some asteroids have moons, smaller asteroids revolving around them. Asteroids are made mostly of silicon-based rock, with some metals like nickel and iron and carbon. Also, like planets, their orbits keep them about the same distance from the sun at all times. Astronomers think that most asteroids formed billions of years ago from the same cosmic dust that formed the sun and the planets of our solar system. Along with comets, they're sort of like the building blocks of our solar system. That's why we study them. Yeah, not all of them stay within the main asteroid belt. When you see a shooting star or meteor, chances are it's a tiny asteroid or a fragment from a big asteroid or comet. The friction from the Earth's atmosphere causes them to burn up as they enter. They light up the way they do because they're actually on fire. Most meteors are so tiny they burn up completely before hitting the ground. But some meteors are too big to burn all the way up. Any part of a meteor that makes it to the Earth's surface without burning up is called a meteorite. That's how scientists know so much about the composition of asteroids, from studying meteorites. Yes, very large asteroids do sometimes hit the Earth. Some scientists think that dinosaurs were wiped out when a huge asteroid hit the planet about 65 million years ago. But most asteroids stay inside the main belt. Astronomers think that collisions with asteroids big enough to do worldwide damage happen only once every few 100,000 years. What? That's a long time. What are the chances of... Okay, let's go inside.
So not a good chance of being hit by one of those, right? There's lots of people on the Earth and lots of area of the blue planet, and most of these things fall in the water. Think about the Earth. Most of our Earth is blue. So they're going to mostly hit places in the water that we're not going to ever know that they're there, right? Okay, so let's go back a little bit and talk about Pluto. I want to make sure we have some time to talk about poor Pluto and why he's not a planet anymore. He's a dwarf planet. Okay, poor Pluto. Okay, so like we said, we have 8 major planets, and Pluto kind of is not a major planet. He would have been the 9th. He's kind of just a dwarf planet now. He's little. He's half rock, half ice. Okay, poor Pluto got a note saying, "You're not a planet anymore." Let me show you a couple little things. They scratched him off. He's crying. Not really, but really. Let me show you something about Pluto. And make sure. Okay, I got a couple things here. All right, so we call him a dwarf planet, and Pluto actually has 3 other moons. And almost Pluto's moons, they go around together, and then they go around like that, and they spin around each other like an ice skater spinning around another ice skater, and then they go around the sun, and they revolve around the sun. Kind of a weird thing. Normally, your moon just kind of goes around you, and you both kind of go around the sun like us.
There are 8 planets in the solar system.
Wait. You guys had your chance in the spotlight. It's time to talk about the dwarf planets in our solar system. Hit it, guys.
There are 5 dwarf planets in our solar system, and we revolve around the sun. 4 of us live in the Kuiper Belt. As far as planets, we're the smallest ones.
My name is Ceres, and I am a dwarf planet. I'm the closest dwarf to the sun.
They just mentioned him as being an asteroid, remember, but he still goes around the sun.
There's mysterious white spots on my rocky surface, and I am the smallest one.
My name is Pluto. I'm a dwarf planet and was the 9th planet from the sun. I am 1/3 water in the form of ice and have 5 moons that are lots of fun. My name's Haumea. I am oval in shape due to the fast rotations that I make. I take 285 years to orbit the sun because I am so far away. There are 5 dwarf planets in our solar system, and we revolve around the sun. 4 of us live in the Kuiper Belt. As far as planets, we're the smallest ones.
I'm Maki Maki. I have no atmosphere. I was discovered in 2005. I am one of the reasons Pluto lost his status, so naturally we do not jive. My name is Aries. I'm more massive than Pluto. I am big, but I'm lots of fun. 557 is the amount of years it takes me to revolve around the sun.
So you see how long they're saying it takes them to go around the sun? Just to go around our star, it takes them, that one, 533 years. One takes 233 years of our years to go around. Yeah, one was Maki Maki. They have lots of funny names. So there's lots of dwarf planets. Those are the 5 major ones. Remember, dwarf planets, nobody really knows their names or remembers them a lot. Poor Maki Maki and Pluto. But anyway, we'll talk about those two in future webinars. I try to concentrate on the ones you're going to do during your winter holiday on the major planets and the sun and our moon. And let me show you one more thing about Pluto that I thought was interesting about why it's really not a planet anymore.
Isn't Pluto a planet anymore?
When we ask the question of what is and isn't a planet, we're really just talking about how we define the word planet. In ancient times, we didn't really need a definition. Astronomers noticed 5 star-like objects, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, that didn't move around with the other stars but seemed to wander through the sky. The word planet comes from an ancient Greek word that meant wanderer. Eventually, we figured out that the Earth is a planet too, orbiting around the Sun just like the others. And that was pretty much it for the solar system until the age of telescopes. The next planet to be discovered was Uranus in 1781, followed by Neptune in 1846. These planets are huge, but just too far away for ancient astronomers to see. But did you know that in 1801, astronomer Giuseppe Piazzi discovered another planet? Or so he thought. Piazzi found a spherical body about 600 miles across, orbiting between Mars and Jupiter. The planet, which is smaller than our moon, was called Ceres. In this case, it wasn't too distant to see, but too small. The problem, however, was that Ceres had buddies, lots of them. The very next year, a smaller object named Pallas was discovered, and 2 years after that, another named Juno. We now know about thousands of similar bodies. Instead of adding thousands of new planets to the solar system, astronomers decided it made more sense to group these objects together. They named a new class of objects, asteroids, and Ceres got demoted. Something similar has just happened to Pluto. Astronomer Clyde Tombaugh stumbled across Pluto in 1930, but since then, its status as a planet has been called into question too. First of all, Pluto's orbit is strong.
See, orbit is when you go around something like we talked about, and there's the sun. Pluto kind of has a weird orbit. See the red line? It doesn't go like the others. It doesn't revolve or go around the sun like in that way. It goes kind of an elliptical or an egg shape.
Range, wildly offset from the other planets, and even intersecting the orbit of Neptune. Also, it turns out that Pluto isn't bigger than the Earth, as Tombaugh initially thought. Instead, it's got a huge moon nearby. In fact, some people called it a binary planet or a double planet. And, just like with Ceres, astronomers discovered that Pluto isn't alone. Beginning in the early 1990s, they started finding other objects similar to Pluto.
Okay, these are all dwarf planets. Remember, our song just had the 5 major ones, but poor Pluto got demoted to kind of a dwarf planet because they found so many of them, and they thought, the scientists thought, we're not going to memorize, 1,000 planets. We're going to memorize our big ones. Okay, let me show you one little thing, and then we'll take some questions. Just so you remember all the planets and the webinars that are coming up that I'm going to do, just so you remember what they're like.
There are 8 planets in the solar system. We revolve around the sun. Join us to learn about the different planets. Now sing along and have some fun.
My name is Mercury. I'm the second hottest planet, the closest one to the sun. A year on my surface is 88 days. I'm the smallest, but I'm lots of fun. My name is Venus. I'm the hottest planet, but the second planet from the sun. I'm the brightest planet in our solar system, and I'm too hot for anyone. My name is Earth. I'm the planet you live on, the third planet from the sun. I'm the only planet with organic life, so take care of me, 'cause we're all one. My name is Mars.
I am red in color, I'm the 4th planet from the sun. I have the highest mountain in our solar system, a volcano named Olympus Mons. There are 8 planets in the solar system, we revolve around the sun. Join us to learn about the different planets. Now sing along and
remember, all the outer ones have rings. They're only showing Saturn having rings, though, on this.
have some fun. My name is Jupiter. I am covered in clouds. I'm the 5th planet from the sun. My giant red spot is a raging storm. As for size, I'm the biggest one. My name is Saturn. I am brown in color, I'm the 6th planet from the sun. My outer rings are extremely thin, they're made of dust and icy chunks. My name's Uranus, I am blue in color, I'm the 7th planet from the sun. Humans have named me the icy planet because I am the coldest one. My name is Neptune, I am blue in color, I'm the 8th planet from the sun. I have too many storms in my atmosphere, and I'm the furthest planet from the sun.
Okay, so just so you guys can remember the order, okay, we're gonna do one little thing and then we'll take questions. The order of the planets, this is the way to remember them. My, very, excited, mother, just, served, us, noodles. Okay, you guys remember that that would be Mercury. See, the first letter matches. Okay, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and then Neptune. See how I remember them? Because they have the same letter. They start with the same letter, M and M, V and V, E and E. Don't forget, there's another M there, that's Mars. So my very excited mother just served us noodles. You can think, oh yeah, that's Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. So just as Jupiter, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. And that's how you can memorize the order from the sun, okay? They all go around the sun. They all revolve around the sun. All right, questions. Let's take some questions.
Hey, Susan.
Hi.
Hi. I have a question which is about Pluto. Once I heard the American NASA space station has sent a space project to Pluto that I'm very interested in. That how will it take long to put the space station to Pluto?
What they did was they sent Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. They named them. Nobody was in them. And they just went by, and let's just pretend that this is a planet like Pluto. It just flew by, went picture, 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 click, 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 as it flew past all the outer planets. So it goes a lot faster because nobody's in it. But that's already happened. The Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 took those pictures.
Oh, okay. So how did it take long to, like, 2 years? 3 years?
How
or
long
4
did it take
years?
to go out there? I'm trying to remember, and I can't remember how long it took for them to go that far out. I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. Thanks.
Sure.
Hi, Susan.
Hi.
My question is, does the sun is weak, or like we can't go on because it's too hot, and it's just like air. If we land on, and we will like fall down.
Yeah, like most planets don't have breathable air like us. Like for 4 billion of our 4.6 billion years on Earth, you couldn't breathe here. So just now we have a breathable atmosphere with oxygen. So other planets, yep, you can't breathe there, or it's just too cold, or you can't land there.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Well, you guys have a good rest of your evening. I hope to see you in my webinars during winter holiday. Have a good Christmas if you celebrate that this week. And I really enjoyed webinar today and telling you a little bit about the solar system, but I have lots more to say. So hopefully you will come to the other webinars when you have your winter holiday. Have a good evening.